Now that the first wave of NFL free agency has come and gone, and the Commanders have filled out quite a few of their needs heading into the 2024 season, it's time for me to update my Commanders mock draft. This is my 4.0 version of the 7-round Commanders mock draft right here on the Commanders Report. And here on the Commanders Report, we're just getting started with our awesome draft content through draft season this year. In-depth scouting reports on all the top draft targets for the Washington Commanders. Also positional rankings at all the top positions of need. We actually already did an edge rusher positional ranking video, so if you want to check that one out after today's show, you can. And then also we do these weekly Commanders mock drafts. We'll do more of these mocks as we get closer to draft day. We might even do a fan-led mock draft on Commanders Report Live in the near future. So go ahead right now, click that subscribe button because it's all 100% free. If you love the Commanders and you want premium draft content this draft season, there's no reason not to click that subscribe button and join our family. So let's start with the number 2 overall pick here. My pick is not changing, all right? And I know some of you might be a little bit annoyed because I'm not changing my pick here at number 2, or at least I don't think I'm going to, because I do believe Drake Maye is the superior quarterback prospect to Jayden Daniels. Now, I wouldn't necessarily hate if the Commanders get Jayden Daniels. I won't cry about it. I'll still be excited about this team. I'll still cheer for the Commanders if they get Jayden Daniels. I don't think he's like a bona fide bust or anything like that. But, you know, I am pretty confident Drake Maye is the better overall quarterback prospect, and I do think he will be the selection at number 2 overall. And if you don't believe me about Drake Maye, maybe you'll listen to Joel Klatt, the leading college football analyst there at Fox Sports, who's really been diving into his draft content here over the last several weeks, and he tweeted this out yesterday about Drake Maye. I really don't understand the devaluing of Drake Maye. He is an elite talent with higher upside potential than any QB in the draft aside from Williams. He makes plays and throws that the other quarterbacks can only dream of making. And of course, I agree with Joel Klatt's analysis here as somebody who's watched every single snap of Drake Maye and Jayden Daniels' film during the 2023 season. I broke down the skill sets, the pros, the cons, the pro comps, everything in my scouting report video of both Drake Maye and Jayden Daniels currently on the channel. One of the biggest videos we've ever done on the channel. I highly recommend that you click the link in the comments and description of that video because it really is a good one if you're wondering which one you'd rather have between Drake Maye and Jayden Daniels. So let me know down there in the comments section if you've already made up your mind. Who do you want to be the pick? Do you want Drake Maye or do you want Jayden Daniels? Type DM if you want Drake or type JD if you want the Heisman Trophy winner out of LSU for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. Then we get to round 2 here, and you guys know I've been a little bit underwhelmed with what the Commanders have done at the edge rusher position this free agency period, I guess we can call it. So they need a number 1 edge rusher for the future because I don't think Dorrance Armstrong's going to be that. I think he's a really good number 2, but I think Jonah Elliss has that higher upside to be a number 1 guy, especially in this very 4-down lineman heavy style defense that Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. are going to be bringing to the nation's capital. Jonah Elliss is a bigger edge rusher out of Utah. He had really, really good college career, man. Now, his last couple of games, all right, probably the last month of his career was completely derailed because of a shoulder injury. And I think a lot of people that are evaluating Elliss right now in NFL draft media are watching games in that final month of his career there at Utah where he just wasn't himself. He literally couldn't use the shoulder that he was playing through with that injury there. And before that injury, he was unbelievably stellar. He's intelligent. He's got a bunch of moves at his disposal. He's big. He is strong. He might not necessarily have the speed and the bend to win that way and just kind of go around people, but he's got the hand fighting ability. He's got the intelligence, and he's got the savvy to beat people with power and to beat people with the bevy of different finesse moves. He's got a rip move, a swim move, even has a little bit of a chop move. I really like Jonah Elliss, and currently I have him number 5 on my list of edge rusher prospects. And honestly, guys, you could make an argument that he is 4th above Chop Robinson because he is worlds better as a run defender than Chop Robinson is right now. Now, Chop is incredible as an athlete. That's why I have him higher than Jonah, especially because Jonah's coming off of an injury. But if Jonah Elliss is there sitting for the Washington Commanders there at the top of round 2, and I think he will be, I think that he'd be an excellent fit in this defense, and I think he could be the bona fide number 1 edge rusher moving into the future, especially if that shoulder has completely healed up. I think if he doesn't have that shoulder injury, we're probably talking about him as either the number 2 or even number 3 edge rusher in this class. That's how much I loved his film. I have my full breakdown of all the top edge rushers in this year's NFL draft class here on the Commanders Report on the channel already. I'll also put the link in the comments and description to that one so you guys can check that one out after today's show. Here we go. Now we get into the second round pick here for the Washington Commanders. And this is somebody I've been taking a lot in my Commanders mock drafts this year. Ja'Tavion Sanders, tight end out of Texas. Now you get Zach Ertz as kind of a 1-year rental, kind of a mentor to whoever they end up bringing in the draft. And Ja'Tavion Sanders, man, we talk about Brock Bowers being a special talent, and he is. He's going to go in round 1, probably pretty darn early in round 1. Ja'Tavion Sanders, in my opinion, as a receiver, is actually not all that far behind. He is dynamic as a receiving threat, but he's not necessarily the household name that Brock Bowers is, so he's probably going to go in round 2. This is a steal for the Washington Commanders, and whoever they draft at number 2 overall, here I have them taking Drake Maye. They're going to have a nice security blanket in Ja'Tavion Sanders here in round 2 for many years to come. Then we get to round 3, and this is where they address left tackle. Now, Blake Fisher did not play left tackle at Notre Dame, but I do think he has the skill set to move over. All right, the 2 tackles from Notre Dame, definitely really good players. Obviously, Joe Alt is going to be probably the number 1 tackle taken this year, and Blake Fisher, because he kind of played second fiddle to Joe Alt there with the Fighting Irish, I think he's going to fall a little bit, but he really shouldn't, man. I think that this guy is an excellent talent. He can play on either side of the line. He plays with good footwork. He's got good size, good arm length. He's got everything you look for in a potential NFL left tackle, and if you're getting him here in round 3, I think that is an absolute steal and a great value here in round 3. And even if you want to play him at right tackle in the future, you can absolutely do that as well. So I like the fit with Blake Fisher. I like the value that you're getting him for here in round 3, and I can't wait to see what he's going to turn into in the NFL, because I think he's getting slept on just a little bit right now. Then we go to round 3 again here at number 78, and we're going to take Renardo Green here out of Florida State. Great fit for Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr.'s press man heavy scheme. He played the most press man out of pretty much any corner in college football last year, and he was one of the best at it in the entire country. If he's going to go in round 3, we're going to take it. I have a round 2 grade on Renardo Green right now, but if he falls to you in round 3, I'm absolutely going to take it, man. I think he's a great player, and I think these press man corners are definitely very valuable to these NFL franchises. Then we get to round 3, the final pick in round 3 here. Of course, the Commanders have most of their draft picks this year in the top 100 of the draft, so they're going to get some starter-capable players in the draft this year, and my final one of day 2 here is going to be Cooper Beebe out of Kansas State, and I really do think Beebe's one of the guys that's getting underrated in this year's draft class. Now, Christian Hayes and Christian Mahogany and all these different guys are really good players as well, and those guys deserve to get all the credit and flowers and all that great stuff that they're getting. But Cooper Beebe deserves to be in that conversation, in my opinion. He's currently being put down the totem pole a little bit, and he is a fantastic value here at the end of day 2 if he ends up making it here. Now, I know you got Nick Allegretti in free agency, but hasn't really started all that much. He's been more of a fill-in kind of piece throughout his career. If you get Cooper Beebe, I think there's actually a chance that he wins the starting left guard spot to start the 2024 season. Now, coming up here, rounds 4 through 7, we're going to be going over my day 3 picks and some of my sleeper picks for the Washington Commanders on today's mock draft. But before we get into that, check out our friends at Fanatics here by going to chatsports.com/DQ to rock the Dan Quinn look on game days this year. We all know Dan Quinn there with the Cowboys. Love to wear that backwards hat. I don't know if he's going to be doing that on the Commanders sideline as a head coach, but if he does, I mean, the vibes would be immaculate, all right? But you can wear that backwards hat look on game days this year from the comfort of your home or at FedEx Field, wherever you happen to be watching the game, by getting this awesome hat, ball cap from our friends at Fanatics. You can wear it backwards during game days. Get it now. It's on sale from our friends at Fanatics. Go chatsports.com/DQ. Then we get into day 3 here, and I think this is going to be one of the bigger value players in the draft this year to whoever he ends up going, and it's Xavier Thomas out of Clemson. Now, of course, Washington took KJ Henry I believe on day 3 last year. I think it was on day 3, round 5 from the Clemson Tigers last year, and I'm actually higher on Xavier Thomas than I was on KJ Henry last year. I have a late round 2, early round 3 grade on Xavier Thomas here, and right now Pro Football Focus expects him to be available in round 4, so I'm going to take it. He's the number 6 edge on my board. I'm not super high on the Cleveland Ferrell signing or even the Dante Fowler signing, if I'm being completely honest with you, but I like Xavier Thomas because I love edge rushers that are instinctual and intelligent and have a lot of moves at their disposal and can win with their hands and aren't just reliant on speed or bend or power or any of these different things. Xavier Thomas might not have the best physical skill set, but man, this guy's a football player. This guy can play the position. He's very savvy with the way he uses his arms, and he just knows how to play the position, and he's also a really good run blocker, or run defender, I should say. So I really like his skill set. I think he's one of the better value picks in this year's edge class, and I think that if you can get him here and you pair him up with Jonah Elliss, who we took earlier, I think that'd be a really good edge tandem for you moving forward. Then we get to round 5, and if Christian Boyd is going to fall to me here, I know we got Jonathan Allen, I know we got Daron Payne, but I'm bringing in Christian Boyd out of UNI, one of my favorite defensive tackle prospects in this year's draft class, to be a rotational interior pass rusher when those guys need a break, all right, and to potentially even replace one of them someday even, okay? Because Christian Boyd, I was watching practices and I was at the Shrine Bowl game as well here in Frisco, Texas, and man, this guy dominated, and he dominated guys that went to Michigan, the national championship football team this year in college football, and he was dominating all these big school guys. So I don't want to hear, oh, Christian Boyd went to UNI, he can't play in the National Football League. It's complete bullshit, all right? This guy's a great player. This guy can really attack the middle of the field as a pass rusher. I think he's going to be a damn good player, and if you're getting him in round 3, holy crap, man, I think you might be getting a big steal right here. Then we have to go all the way to round 7 here because you don't have a round 6 pick, all the way to number 222nd overall, where I'm going to have the Commanders take another offensive tackle here in Garrett Greenfield, who really tested out of the gym at the NFL Combine, one of the highest overall testers at the NFL Combine at the position this year. And you guys know I've had Garrett Greenfield in my mocks before, and I was trying to tell you guys, man, this guy is a physical freak. This guy has all the things that you look for from a physical standpoint of a starting left tackle in the National Football League, but because the competition that he played against, he's getting knocked down all the draft boards right now, and nobody really believes in him. But I've watched the film on this guy. I watched him at the Shrine Bowl. He absolutely dominated against a number of Division I edge rushers, all right, these big SEC schools. You're telling me he can't come into the NFL and at least have a chance to potentially be a good, even swing tackle in the National Football League? I think this could be an absolute steal for the Washington Commanders, and if he's available in round 7, I would pull the trigger on that, and he could even be your left tackle, and then, Blake Fisher has the versatility to play right tackle, right? So you got a couple of nice tackles here, and I really like this mock draft haul that I've collected here in my 4.0 mock. I'm going to be taking Drake Maye probably throughout this entire season. So if you're a Jayden Daniels person, you might just have to get over that. But if you like Daniels, you can just swap him out with this mock, whatever. I don't care. Then you get Jonah Elliss. Really good edge rusher who could be your number 1 edge rusher for the next 10 years, in my opinion. At the top of round 2, Jatavian Sanders is a great dynamic receiving threat in this pass-heavy Cliff Kingsbury offense. Blake Fisher can play left or right tackle, in my opinion, has the physical skill set to play either. Really like his profile. Renardo Green, I think, is a great fit in this defense. Could be a week 1 starter for this team moving forward over Michael Davis. Cooper Beebe, interior offensive lineman, could win the starting left guard spot over Nick Allegretti in camp. I believe in him that much. Xavier Thomas, one of the best value edge rusher picks in the draft here in round 4. Christian Boyd is another great value pick at defensive tackle to fill out your rotation there on third downs. And then Garrett Greenfield in the 7th round, somebody that I think could potentially be a starter in this league someday, and you're getting him in round 7. I know that might sound a little bit crazy, him being from South Dakota State, but man, I'm telling you, this guy can play. So grade my mock down there in the comments section, A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know how you're feeling about this week's mock draft. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button right now for all the latest Commanders news and rumors surrounding the 2024 NFL Draft.